So one of the things about this plot is you'll see some grasses. This is one called side oats grama. There's one back here called prairie drop seed. And then we have another one called little blue stem, where did I see it? It's right almost on your feet right here. The grasses are very important. They form the matrix for the flowering plants, which in the prairie community are called forbs. The grasses kind of hold all the soil and everything together and keep some of the prairie plants from like falling over and kind of support them. So the grasses are important. Most of the grasses in here are the shorter prairie grasses. We did plant a few of the taller ones. You have to be really careful of the tall ones because they will want to predominate a planting. So if you're just going out and dropping seed in the wild, I wouldn't include any of the tall ones. So anyways, I just started collecting seed from the plants that we planted in our flower beds, dropping it in the rough, and the prairie species took over. Again, some of the plants that you want to definitely use are the milkweeds. Most people have heard the story of the monarch butterfly, and this year in particular was a bad monarch butterfly year, and they're a threatened species, even though the government refuses to put them on the endangered species list. But they rely and require milkweed plants. So this is a plant called swamp milkweed. It's one of their favorites. Neat thing about swamp milkweed, it's got a name that isn't particularly aesthetic, I would say, but it gets fantastic fragrant flowers on it. It gets kind of a pinkish fragrant flower later in the season when a lot of things aren't blooming, and monarchs love it, pollinators love it, all the native bees and wasps and everything are all over swamp milkweed. Since this is sand, these plants were selected for a sand environment. One of the really drought-tolerant prairie plants is called horse mint. It's in if you might be familiar with bee balm. Bee balm is people use in their regular gardens a lot. It's also called monarda. It's a relative of that in the mint family, and it can handle sandy soil. So we did a project at Coyote Run where we rebuilt the bunkers. We had a lot of sand, so these are the species we used, except ours were seeded and not planted in pots. One of the real important things if you're doing a prairie planting is to get some of the fall flowering plants. This one is called sky blue aster, New England aster, some of the goldenrods, because particularly for monarchs, their last generation migrates all the way to Mexico, and they're not particularly worried about laying eggs and producing caterpillars. They're worried about getting nutrition so that they can make that migration. And in the fall, those are the plants that they need to survive. So that's a really important one to use. This plant right here, this is coneflower, purple coneflower. That's one that has been domesticated. You'll see this in a lot of gardens around. Again, it's a really good pollinator plant. It's also a great plant if you put this out in kind of a natural area. You'll see goldfinches all over it, so it actually draws in birds that eat the seeds. So it's a really good plant. It's blooming out of season now. Normally it will bloom in July and August, but since this is a new planting, things will be a little bit out of whack for a few years. So this is another, although it's not very attractive right now, when this is in bloom, it's one of the spectacular prairie plants. This is Laetris. It gets a purple flower on it, and it'll eventually get about this tall with the purple bloom. And again, it draws in all sorts of pollinator type insects and butterflies.